I'm Cordelia Kate, and this is a live interactive show that I run every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Each week, I teach one clear marketing strategy that you can actually use in your business. Everything I share on this show comes with practical tools, downloadables, all inside our brand new space called the Strategy Lab. I'm giving you step-by-step guides, checklists, everything you need to implement every single strategy that I'm sharing here. And you can come and get inside for free with a free 7-day trial, and then come say hi, drop in the comments that you're here with me live. If you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay, and I will see you in a second. Hello, well, this is exciting. I've got my first guest on the show today. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you.
To have you here. And yeah, so basically, if you are watching live for the first time, this is the Marketing Strategy Show. And today we are talking about content. And specifically, imagine this. What if you never had to ask, what should I post on social media today ever again? It is the biggest bane of our lives, trying to think of what to post next and keeping on that content treadmill. So imagine instead you had a simple framework that you could repeat on autopilot. Well, I'm Cordelia Kate, and in today's guest edition of this show, I'm joined by Rachel Green, social media manager and coach with 8+ years experience in the online business space, where she's been helping people create amazing social media content and helping them to do that in a way that puts them on autopilot, takes the stress out of it. And she's going to be breaking down the only 5 social media post types you actually need to grow your business. And she's not just naming them, she's even going to hand you the exact AI prompts that she uses to create those 5 post types as well, and how to create high quality content that sounds like you and then also drives engagement as well. So I'm excited for this. I know we've got a lot of rebels that have mentioned, oh my God, I'm going to be there for this episode. This sounds killer. This is something that a lot of people resonate with as a problem, as something that is the bane of their lives. I would love, Rachel, to start with what you're seeing right now in the real world when it comes to posting consistently. When someone comes to you and says, I'm doing the things, but I'm still finding it hard, what are the first few signals you look for that tell you why that person's finding it hard? What's the most common things that keep coming up?
I think it can just be very overwhelming. So social media as a whole, it's overwhelming because in order to show up in order to make it work, right? In order to attract those customers and clients, to nurture them, to make those sales, you do need to show up consistently, which can be really, really hard. And I think the main problem that I see nowadays is you're not consistent. Like, business owners aren't consistent because they don't really know what to post. Like, they run out of ideas and they get overwhelmed also by knowing kind of what to post. There's so many things. You're doing all the things. Maybe you're asking ChatGPT or Gemini to come up with some ideas, and then you're like, well, are they actually going to work with this whole strategy? And I think a lot of people don't even have like a strategy. Like they kind of just throw anything out there and it trying to hope that it sticks. Like you try and throw spaghetti at a wall and hope that it kind of sticks. And so it's like a bit like that. And I think that we need to kind of go back to almost like basics and kind of break it all down and think, actually, what do my audience want to see, and who are they, and what's my offer, and what will resonate with them. And really, there are only 5 types of posts that you need, which I think will make it a lot easier for people, because then they're like, oh, okay, well, only these 5 different types of posts in order to attract and nurture and convert people. And it makes the whole process a lot easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, having a system, having a strategy in place definitely is going to take a lot of the stress out, because I think it's the thinking time. If you can systemize that and you can have a plan, then you've just got to follow it, and it makes it so much easier.
And it's sticking to that plan as well. And it's the time. I think time's a massive kind of constraint for people, because they want to do things quickly. And I get that. Like,
Interestingly, interestingly, I think a lot of people respond to inconsistency by adding more. I don't know if it comes from a place of guilt, but they add more platforms, like, oh, I'm going to get on TikTok and put stuff on there as well. Or, more, as you say, coming up with more content ideas and trying to figure out what the trends are and coming up with more trends that they can follow, etc. In your experience, what would you say like are the most common more things that people add when you're like, no, just create a system, stop
I
adding
think it
more
is
things?
like more platforms. I think what happens, and I've been guilty of this as well, is that you start with one platform and then you don't give it long enough, and then you go, oh, I better be on something else and try that, and then you're kind of trying to do, Instagram, maybe you're trying to do Facebook, and then LinkedIn, and you've got, it's too much, like especially if you're a one-man band and you're not, you haven't got a team around you, then it's very difficult to stay consistent and do it well on each of those platforms when it's only you doing it. And like I said, like the consistency is the massive thing, because platforms want you to be consistent. They want you to show up as much as possible. They want people to stay on the platform. So I think that, it's a massive time constraint in that, and trying to be everywhere is like, don't just like focus on one platform and do that really well. And once you master that platform, then bring in something else. I think that's
100%. I say this a lot as well. You want to master one platform. The reality is there's enough people on one platform to keep you in business for the rest of your life. I would say the only reason why you start adding in more platforms is to not put all your eggs in one basket. Because if Facebook shut you down and that's the only social media platform you've got, that's a bit of a shame. So but that becomes a strategic addition rather than a panic, like, I need to be in more places. I had this conversation with a client this week who was like, I just feel like I'm going to exhaust LinkedIn. And I was like, honey, with love and respect, you couldn't if you tried. Like, there is not enough of you to go round to serve all of LinkedIn. Like, you just couldn't do it. And so there's this feeling of like scarcity that comes in, I see, and that being a driver for adding more and more.
Definitely. Well. I think people, they get worried, don't they? And then they kind of, like you say, they kind of add in as much as possible, and then it just becomes all overwhelming, and then you might be procrastinating and then you do nothing. Or you kind of stop and start. That's another thing as well. You start kind of posting on social media and then something gets in the way or whatever because you don't have a system, and then you stop, and then it really affects like the algorithm and your account, and it is hard to be consistent. But if you can have some kind of system and you focus and you have a plan in your diary of when you're going to do your content, then it's going to make your life so much easier.
Yeah, for sure. And that decision fatigue specifically as well, of like, what am I going to post today? Do you like, I mean, I know having a system is really important for sure, but do you feel that one of the things that causes people to stop and become inconsistent because they don't know what to post, and then they get in their own head and then they stop doing it, is that to do with not knowing what works, what converts, or something else?
Yeah, I think it does, thinking, oh, I try and do this, and then not giving it long enough. Like people don't, we all want instant things. Like we want to instantly sell. We want, to do one post and it to get loads of engagement and get loads of reach, and then it doesn't. And if it doesn't happen and you're doing it for like maybe a month or something and nothing's really kind of doing anything, you can like just say, oh, this doesn't work. But the thing with social media, it does take time. It's not a quick fix. And if you haven't been posting for a while, maybe you just want to get back into it, then, and it doesn't work almost instantly, we tend to give up, and we just need to give it a little bit more time. So, and I would say, like, you don't have to post 7 days a week. Like, you just need to stick to something, whatever you commit to. So whether you decide, okay, I've got time to do 3 posts a week, commit to doing 3 posts a week. Don't do 3 posts a week, then stop, and then think, oh crap, I need to go and post again. And then like a couple of weeks later, oh, I'll post 2, and then it's very random. If you can just be consistent, just decide on your boundaries and how many times you're going to post a week and stick to that, that's going to make your life simple as well. So I'm not saying like you have to post every single day. You don't. It's just the consistency that really matters. Yeah.
I love that. I really love that. And I think, what what makes a lot of sense to me when I hear you say that is back to this system and knowing what we don't know necessarily what converts. We don't know if the effort that we put in is going to result in sales, followers, or whatever. But I definitely think it takes a lot of the uncertainty out of the process if we know we're following a system that someone else has carved out, someone else has got results from, and we
Yeah.
know that it works. It's a proven strategy, a method. We just need to follow it. And then maybe the consistency becomes easier because you can lean on and rely on the fact that it will produce, it will work, it will create. It just takes time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like it's also to do with your offers, like your ideal audience and your client. There's other factors in it that you need to master, I suppose, or really kind of nail. And social media is obviously a big part of that. And you do need to be visible. Like if you want to sell your stuff and you're doing it online, then you do need to be visible because otherwise people won't get to know you. They're not going to get to trust you. So you do need to show up. Unfortunately, we do need to show up.
Yeah.
And we can do that in all sorts of different ways, depending on how you like to show up or how you don't like to show up.
I love that. We've got the rebels chiming in. I can see that we've got Sam here who is saying, I have commitment issues with social media. Sam, tell us more. Like, why do you think that is? Are you resonating with what Rachel's saying about like not having, maybe you have a system, maybe there is something missing there. Is it that you don't know what to post? Do you ever have that feeling like, oh, I just don't know what to post today? And I absolutely love Jackie's here as well. And she's like, same here, replying to Sam. So this is definitely resonating. And also, if you are watching live, drop us a comment so we can give you a shout out. And this can feel like a conversation between us and you rather than just between us, because we're here to share this with you guys. So please do get involved. If you have any questions as we go along, drop them in. I'm going to get Rachel to answer them. And yeah, also feel free to share a little bit about you, what you do, so that we can, put a business to the name. And that is just a good opportunity to give yourself a little plug in the comments, because yeah, we're always building communities and networks wherever we go. So it'd be really cool to do that in the thread too. So, well, Rachel, let's get into the strategy.
Okay.
You're gonna teach us today the 5 social media posts, the only 5 social media posts you need. I'm curious as to what they are and how we're going to be able to apply them. I'm really excited for this. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, cool. So do you want to share the document? Or do I need to do that? Hang on.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So as we said, like social media can be really overwhelming, right? Because you don't really know what to post, or you post it before and then you're like stuck and you run out of ideas, and it can just get like overwhelming to the point where you start procrastinating and then you don't post anything at all. So problem. And I've experienced all of this, and I've taught many people that have experienced this problem as well. So there are 5 types of posts that I believe you only need in order to attract the right people, whoever your customer or clients are, but also to nurture them and then convert them, because that's what social media does, right? So you want to attract more people, you want to nurture them, you want them to get to know you, like you, trust you, and then buy from you. So there's 5 different types of posts that work really well for this. So I'm just going to run through them. The first one are these what I call authentically you posts. Okay, so these are the ones that are more, they might be behind the scenes, maybe it's something that you're doing, like a hobby that you have, because it's not just, you don't just talk about business all the time, like on your social media platforms. In order for people to get to know you and resonate with you, you can talk about the things that you like, the things that you don't like, the things that you agree with, don't agree with, not to get too political or anything like that, but the things that you love. So for example, if you really care about the environment, and maybe that's part of your business values and things like that, then talk about it. You can talk about it on social media, and you can talk about it inside these kind of authentically you posts. And don't worry, because I've got some prompts that you can come up with some ideas for the types of things that you might want to talk about in terms of these specific ones. But we want our audience to emotionally connect with us. So it might be that you're a vegan and you want to attract similar people to you, and you want to talk about your vegan food that you eat, or whatever it might be. So talk about it. Like it might be that you love animals. Like I share posts about me walking my dog. She's really elderly at the moment, but I will share those. Like I have 2 kids and I attract a lot of mums in businesses, so I will, you know, talk about my kids and perhaps funny things that happen with them and stuff. So it's just, you don't have to, and sometimes people get a bit fearful of sharing too much, and I get that as well, and you don't have to share everything. Like, but if you can just give people a little insight, a little kind of nugget of who you are, what you believe in, what you do outside your business, then these are going to really, really help as well. And alongside these can be like story posts as well. So perhaps these are posts where you have accomplished something in your life or in your business. You can share those things. Maybe there's funny stories that you can share. I shared a story of when I got bullied in the workplace. So, and that like got loads of comments because some people obviously resonated with that because they also got bullied. And, you know, it's something that I really strongly believe in. I hate, you know, bullies. I hate the, you know, trolls out there and things like that. So I popped a post in about the time I got bullied in the workplace when I was working my 9 to 5, and it was an awful time. So there's things like that that you can share that will really start resonating with your audience, and, you know, start, I guess, like getting for them to get an insight into who you are. And there's all sorts of different stories that you can share. You might be stuck. I know I was stuck. I was like, oh my god, well, what kind of stories can I share? And it was like you kind of have to look back over. It sounds quite dramatic, but over your life kind of thing. But, you know, start looking at what you've achieved is a good one. Like, even, you know, I talked about I had a degree in music, like, so I talked about that. And, you know, when I was younger, I was quite shy and not very confident, and, you know, to a degree I'm still, you know, an introverted person, although I do lives and all sorts of things, so people find that hard. But, you know, you can talk about how you've grown and evolved and all that kind of stuff. There's so many things that you can share that will really kind of connect with your audience. So that is one of them. Does that
I
make
think
sense?
that's the most important one, Rachel. Like, really, I know that it's not directly related to sales necessarily in terms of the call to action. You don't want to be using your personal stories to get people to buy things necessarily, but it is the one that builds a relationship with your audience the most. And I love that. Like, I've got so many stories I could share, and I generally don't, because I will if there's like an anniversary of something, or if it makes sense to something else. But just to have that reminder that there are loads of stories to share. You know, like, we've all got crazy things that give insight then. And like what you said about a music degree, wouldn't know that about you unless you shared it, right? It just wouldn't be something that I would cotton on to. But that is what really builds relationships with your audience, which enables you to build like a following that feel like they know you and are connected with you, which creates a lot more of a connection with people than just people that like your topic and like your message.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like I get a lot of people say, oh, I don't, you know what stories to share, or I'm uncomfortable with sharing something, and that's fine. But I think if you can start lightly and then you get more used to sharing stuff, and the response that you get is most likely going to be positive, so you start sharing more stories. So a good one to start off with is why you started your business in the first place. Like, what made you start? That's a really good one, because obviously then people understand you a little bit more as well, and why you kind of created your, you know, your business.
What might be nice, can we take a practical example and then like imagine how we might bridge that? Because would you say that, let's say we use a story, a personal story, put it on social media, do we need to bridge it into the business and like make it relevant? Like, does there need to be a moral or a lesson or something like that? Or is it just the case that you would just share a story and that's that? Like,
I think it's good that if you can relate it somewhere along the lines of you learned something, for example. So I think that's a good idea if you can, but I don't think it has to be, like, especially if you're sharing a funny story, like,
that's true.
Funny has just happened to you, then, you know, maybe you've got like a baby or something and they pooed everywhere, or whatever it might be. I don't know why I'm saying that, but
That's
you know,
totally not the thing I would share. And then
yeah,
you go, oh my God, why have I shared
but
that?
it's funny. And you know, I have shared those stories before, and what happens is when you kind of do the behind the scenes and those kind of more personal stories, you will get more likes, you will get more engagement. It's just how it
Yeah.
works. Like from doing a sales post to doing those ones, it's just
Mm.
different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I think if you can maybe put a lesson in it that maybe you learned something from whatever you're sharing would be good.
Yeah. So let's say we're taking something from the archive, and we could say, I'll think through my archive because obviously it's in my head. And I could pull it out as an example. When I became a nurse, I gave birth to 3 children during my nursing diploma. So I started without any children and I graduated a mum of 3. Like, it feels like a random story to bring up.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how would we bring that up and make it feel like it was relevant? Because if it was something that just happened, like the baby pooed everywhere, I can document that as I go. But if we're pulling stories from the bank, I just think this might be one thing where it's like, oh, where people get stuck. How do you take that and then relate it to now and the business and all that kind of thing?
It's probably more of like an emotional thing. Like, so what was it like when you started, like as a nurse, and then how did you manage like having 3 children, and what kind of, what did you learn from that? How did you build up resilience? Like, was it like juggling like 3 kids while being a nurse? Like, what kind of, how did you grow as a person? Because I think that's quite interesting. Like, what did you learn from that experience of having the 3? Were they close together then, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were born within 4 years of each other.
yeah, so that's a lot. You must have had to be really kind of organized. Like, you know, you probably built up a ton of
Yeah.
skills from that, from just
Yeah,
that
as well,
experience.
and I think that's an interesting thing that you just said, because my obvious bridge into the business would be, oh, well, that was the reason why I then left nursing, so I could work from home and build a business, which is true, and it's like the thing that I would normally say, but you're right, there's so many other things within that story that could also be relevant, skills that you developed. I guess this is another thing that we can get AI to help us with, is to go, here's a story that I've got, help me make this relevant.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So I think if you give it, obviously, you know, it depends what you're using, but if you can give it the basis of your story, how you felt, what emotions you were feeling, what happened, obviously, and then you say, right, how can I make this relevant to my business, and how can it help others? And then it will give you some ideas, and then you think, oh yeah, that's actually, you know, how I was feeling, and that's what I learned from it. So you know, AI is good for that, like where it can help kind of uncover things that you probably have never even thought about.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Sam's chiming in here and saying, I feel like the personal stuff just adds more to the human side of you as opposed to everything being business, business, business all the while.
Yeah, it's important. I think it makes you human. Like,
Definitely.
people get to know the person behind the brand, and
Yeah.
that is important if you want to kind of connect with your audience.
Yeah. Of course, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to connect? Okay, thank you for ruminating on that with me for a little moment there. But yeah, I will stop interrupting and let you continue with
No,
your.
it's all right. So the second one is what I call like expert positioning posts. So being an expert like in your field, in your industry, so they are the ones that would build like more credibility. So it might be educational pieces of content. So I've done a lot of this in my time, of how to do stuff. Like, this one is an educational piece, right? How to, like, the only 5 social media posts you need, and it's how to, you know, the how to things, like even maybe I'm appearing on this session, like that, it builds up my credibility because, you know, I'm giving advice and things like that. So I would share, and have shared, that I'm doing this live session today. It might be that you need to think about, obviously, the problems that your audience has, and then start talking about them, and thinking of that they're more kind of teachy things. But obviously it depends on what you're selling, you know, like products maybe it might not be, you're not really teaching them. If you sell like skincare, it's not, well, it is actually, because I always kind of start thinking, oh no, what can you say about skincare? But you can, because you can talk about the ingredients, what's in them, why is it in them, you know, all sorts of things. So it just is talking about and educating your audience in your offers and the problems that they have, and trying to help them and provide those solutions. Okay, so it's those kind of things. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it
cool.
does make sense. And also, would you say that like documenting, because you mentioned you put like as an example, putting that you were coming on here. So also like documenting wins, because there's people that are winning awards or, you know,
Yeah,
getting like achieving things in their own career. Like maybe they've become a counselor and they've got a new certificate, or they've, you know,
yeah,
so would that come under that too?
it's all that kind of stuff. It might even be that you go into a networking meeting and you're, you know, meeting all sorts of different people, because, you know, it also shows that you're willing to show up and talk to people and that kind of stuff. So it can be a number of things. Again, you can ask ChatGPT or whatever AI software you use and say, hey, like, I want to do some more kind of expert positioning posts. What kind of things can I talk about? It could be that you're writing an article or something and you actually show, you know, I'm writing this. It might just be a simple post about, hey, today I'm going to be writing an article for so and so, or I'm writing this blog for so and so, or I've appeared in this magazine, or whatever it might be. So it could be anything, but it doesn't actually, it might be that you can draw from experience outside of your business as well. It could be because people will also want to understand like your ethics and your values and things like that. So it might be that you do charity work or something like that. And that is a little bit of a crossover from behind the scenes, like, but you could talk about charity work if that's something that you do. But it's building up not only your expertise in what you do, but your credibility in the person that you are, that you're honest, kind, you have good morals, values, that kind of thing. So think of those things as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've just said I've gone in a different order, but it doesn't matter. The next one would be like social proof. So this is obvious. Like these will be the posts that build that credibility and confidence in what you do and who you are. So, you know, testimonials, case studies, those kind of things. So obviously that's something that you would need to share, and wins. So you could put wins in this category as well. So things that you've achieved over your business as well. And sometimes that's quite hard to come up with ourselves because we're quite bad at saying how we've done and what we've done good in and our wins and things. But you could put that into our category. But social proof ones are quite obvious. But again, that's going to build credibility. So if you've got customers that have been pleased with the products or the services that you've provided, talking about that, those are good ones as well. The next one would be what I call profit posts. And these are really kind of sales posts, which we do not do enough of.
True.
You know, for those of you who are watching this, how many of you have talked directly on social media in the last week about what you do and made an offer? Like literally, this is what I do and this is how you can reach me in order to talk about it. Like we don't do that enough at all because we're worried about being salesy or selling. But if people don't know what you do, then how can they buy from you? Like a lot of people don't. There was a lady recently that I was talking to, and I said, like, you know, we were talking about the sales post and things, and she's like, oh yeah, I should put one up. Anyway, she did, and she came back with loads of people who didn't even know what she did, like actually specifically understand what she did and how she could help these people. And she's like, oh my god, like, and she got loads of engagement from it, because we think that we sell too much on social media and everyone is going to see our posts all of the time, which is just not the case. The percentage of people who actually see your posts is quite small. So we get worried, like, oh, we're just going to appear selling all the time. And it's like, no, you're probably like one. It's the same with emails, actually. Not everyone will see your email. Not everyone will see your social media posts. So don't be afraid of putting those posts out there and telling people what you do and helping them. Like any kind of business and brand, you're helping someone with something. So you should be kind of sharing that and highlighting it, because otherwise you can't help that person. So do more sales posts, do more of those profit posts, because that's what's going to make you money as well. And just, you know, to let you know, they're not going to get loads of engagement, but it doesn't matter, like, because people won't engage so much on those posts because it is like a direct selling post, but they're watching you. And I think we get caught up in this, oh, well, I haven't, you know, no one's liked that post. And it's like, it doesn't matter. They are watching you, and they're watching you all the time. It's happened to me loads of times where people have been watching me, and I've had like emails say, oh, you know, I've been following you on social media for ages. They've never liked anything, and then they've become like a client, and it's like, oh my god, where did that come from? But they are watching it. So
it's so true. And that I always say the most important metrics are the silent metrics.
yeah.
Because what Facebook or LinkedIn or any social media platform doesn't tell you is how long someone is hovering on your post.
Yeah,
which
true.
actually that is measurable by the algorithm. And me and Caroline, my business partner, we did a big test in our Facebook group on, it was called the Rebel Reach Challenge. And we were trying to see who could get a reach of 1,000 on a post. And what we found was the posts that were getting the biggest reach were the ones that people were lingering on the most. And we worked that out because it didn't really make much sense that this post that was cut in half, that you couldn't really see everything of, you had to click on it and look at it in order to see the full thing.
Yeah.
You know, a carousel, for instance, or something that required people to, you know, like, you know, those puzzle posts.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do really well. And, you know, if someone's lingering, it seems to have an effect. So there's that as an example of one silent metric that you do not have access to the data of, that will, you know, have an impact on the reach of your post.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, especially on Facebook, what I've noticed is it will, if you go into the analytics, it will show you the clicks. So that it's not necessarily people liking it, but if you look at the clicks, they are doing something on that post, where it's clicking one of the images and clicking the next image. So like a carousel post, or with the see more button, you know, you can't read all of it. They're clicking that see more button, but you don't know that from a like or a comment, but people are doing stuff. So if you have a look at the clicks as well, you can see also, you don't get everything that's going on, but you might get a little bit more of an insight into, oh, well, people are actually clicking something on my post. So they might not be liking it, but they're doing something, which is good. So
yeah. By the way, just to say, we've got Emily saying the lurkers are always watching. It's so true. The lurkers.
I'm quite a lurker as well. Like, I will lurk, but I'll watch.
We all are.
Yeah.
There's a 99-1 rule, which is that 1% of people will engage with your posts. 9% of people will no, oh God, 1% will comment, 9% will engage, and 90% will just silently watch and not do anything at all.
Yeah.
And it's our behavior. Like, if you look at your own scrolling behavior, when you get sucked in on the scroll, you are not stopping to give everyone a little like and a comment. There'll be the odd one that you decide you need to chime in on.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 in 100. It's not normal for you to do that. So yeah, I totally agree with you. We need to stop worrying about the metrics. They're not important. And as Emily says, Meta needs to stop hoarding that depth data. I know, that's such a good point. But yeah, and just to echo what you said, promoting yourself is so important, and we don't do it enough. I will say, I think some of the people that we've got commenting here and some of the people watching, they probably are promoting themselves a lot because they're part of NABA Client, which is
okay, that's good then.
Have you heard of NABA Client, Rachel?
No.
Okay, so me and Caroline have a membership called NABA Client Challenge, and every month we have a different challenge where we teach a different sales strategy. And the sales strategy is basically some kind of social media post / email, if you have an email system, that you can put out that promotes your product or service. So we did a Twixmas mop up. We've just done the avatar interview challenge. Like, there's a different strategy, and they're all proven and they all work really, really well. And so yeah, we've got quite a few people in NABA Client that are now like posting promotions. But you know, we have had so many people that come in and do that for the first time, and have had incredible results because they've generated so much low-hanging fruit with the content that you're talking about here.
Yeah, and I've made a bit of a commitment to myself that, as well as all these other posts, that I'm going to be doing more sales posts, and probably on Facebook I'm going to try and do one a day, well, maybe 5 a week, but with the other stuff as well. So it's not obviously just because people don't see it, and if you want to sell your stuff, you do need to, as long as you're doing the other things as well.
Yeah,
it's not just every post is selling, and
it's about balance, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So that brings us on to the last one, I think. So this is what I call all about them. So these are posts all about your dream client. So they're mainly made up of engagement questions, but LinkedIn is, if any of you are on LinkedIn, the polls on LinkedIn are really good, like asking questions about your audience. So I've, a lot of mine are kind of mums, or have been in the past. What did your kids want to be when they grew up? Like, just ask them questions. People love talking about their kids as well. Another one might be, if you could wave a magic wand and your biggest problem in your business was fixed instantly, what would it be? So you need to think about what they would like to talk about, what their values are, what are they passionate about, and try and start getting some, it's great for data, it's great for research. Start asking them questions as well. And you can do this, it's easier even in your stories. So Facebook, Instagram, you've got these polls. Start asking about your audience. What are they into? What are their hobbies? Or you can the would you rather questions. Would you rather do this or that, or those kind of things? Again, ChatGPT would be a great place to ask and come up with all sorts of different questions for these things to help you, because I know it can be challenging to come up with ideas.
I love that.
Like this. But it's just be interested in them. When you go to a networking meeting, if you ever have done that in the past, it's not about you going and talking about yourself all the time. Be interested in them and what they're doing and what they're interested in and what their values are, and do more of the listening than the talking. It's the same principle really for this one, is talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know what as well? I mean, what I really am taking away from those 5 things that you've just shared, it's so easy to just do one of them. And I think the easiest one to just do is probably the informational how-to, expert positioning posts where you're sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
It's easy to just do that. It would be really cool to have a system where you go, right, let's make sure we've got a bit of everything. We've got a bit of pick and mix going on here. I'm remembering that I need to do an all about them post. There's a promo post in here that's going out as well. We've got this, we've got that. And you create, rather than it all being about content pillars.
Yeah.
Because I think if we just create 5 content pillars, well, that just gives us something to make 5 informational posts about, and then we accidentally miss out a load of those things. The one that I'm guilty of, I'll batch create a load of all about them posts, schedule them, and then it'll be 6 months until I get round to scheduling some more, because you can only schedule up to 2 or 3 months in a Facebook group, for instance.
Yeah.
So it's really good to have those 5. It's such a great reminder. Let me know what you guys think as well, watching on the live. Which one of those are you guilty of not posting enough of?
Yeah.
If you're in Nab a client, it might not be the promos. It might be, it might be your testimonial stuff. Like, for instance, I think that's mine for now. I've got clients that are getting amazing results. I've got loads of great comments coming in on this show. I haven't posted one I keep
saying that's what you need. Yeah, we forget. I forget as well. I was like, oh my god, I need to do more of that as well. And I've made a note of actually getting more kind of testimonials. And I think if you make a plan, so I don't know, whatever I normally plan my content on Trello. So if you just get 5 columns and then you just get some ideas, for each of those 5 things, just pick one from each for every week and go through them. It's a really easy way to just kind of plan and get your content out there.
Now, you told me that you got some prompts that will make this easy for us.
You'll have to probably give them to so they're on the document at the end. Hang on.
Do you want to just walk them through what we're going to do off the back of this? I'm going to create, as per usual, the downloadable that goes with every episode of this show. It's kind of like a 3D multi-dimensional show notes where you will have ultimately the edited version of this video alongside show notes that contain all the steps, the prompts, and everything you need to implement. And you can grab that for free inside the school community on a free trial. It's a free trial, free 7-day trial to get into the community. And then it's $4 a month if you want to stay on. So you can just jump in today and grab the step-by-step guide from the community. It'll be there by the end of today. And also all the other downloadables that we've created for every other episode, such as, creating a podcast episode out of a video. There's loads of stuff on blogging and image creation, and there's loads of little bits and pieces that are really helpful. But you can grab that from there. But we will walk you through it just now anyway, and then you can grab the downloadable later. And I'll drop the link to that in the chat as well, because I appreciate some people are watching from their phone.
Yeah, you might not be able to see it.
QR code. You can't QR code something if you're watching on your phone. It's not possible. So I'll drop it in the chat. But yeah, go for it, Rachel.
Okay, so if you haven't already done this, and it doesn't matter if you use Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever it is, it will work. Is just make sure that they understand who your audience is, what their desire is. And so I've given you like a little prompt there so that they understand who what your offer is and the problems that you solve. So the educational prompt, so that's the expert positioning one, is can you please share 48 hyper specific. Now that word is really important because you want the things to be hyper specific. So instead of saying how to declutter your email inbox, it would be how to get rid of 2,000 emails in 30 minutes. Like, you see the difference, it's more specific. So you need to put that hyper specific word in. It will really make a difference. So please share 48, you can put any number. I put 48 hyper. I think there's a reason that if you do this in like 6 months worth of planning, it would work out that, I'm not sure, but it was something like that. But 48 hyper specific common myths, problems, challenges, frustrations, tips and how-tos that people have about, and then you can just put in your offer what it is you sell. That will come out with a load of ideas. So that's obviously a good one. And then we've got a stories prompt here, which is give me 12 story ideas I can share with my audience. These should be a mixture of business and personal life. The outcome of these stories is I would like to connect with my audience so that they can get to know, like, and trust me. For each story idea, please also include an example lesson that would be relevant for my audience. So that bit is in there as well. Let's scroll down a bit. Or the other thing is, it might be that you have a story idea already. So this is the story I want to share. And then you give a brief description. Please ask me any questions you need so you can write me a story that evokes emotion and is relatable, friendly, and like I'm talking to a friend. So then it would start asking you questions like, how did you feel? What did you do? Blah, 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 blah. And then you can really kind of get more of a better narrative. Now, it will probably come back with something that you like, a draft, because with like ChatGPT, I would always recommend, changing it, because it will probably sound a little bit AI. It depends how well trained your AI is on what you do. But that's just another way, if you do have something that you want to share, an idea, get it to ask you questions so it understands you. The social proof prompt is, please give me 24 social proof ideas. I only have had, so this could be great if you haven't got a lot of proof. So some of you might not have tons of proof already. I've only had a few clients. They don't all need to be client related. They could be proof of what it's like working with me, my personal characteristics, or other things I've achieved in my life. The outcome is to show my audience my credibility and that I am trustworthy, hardworking, and reliable. So if you can do this even if you don't have loads of social proof, okay? Because you can get social proof, you can get proof on your character and your personality, which is still very important. The profit post is, so these are the sales posts. Act as a marketing expert and consider how my audience are thinking, feeling, and doing now. So this is really, really important. And this is, I could do a whole episode on doing messaging, but this is important to understand what your audience is thinking and feeling and doing now before they work with you or buy your thing. And then it says, and then ask it what, hang on, let me just read it. So act as a marketing expert and consider how my audience are thinking, feeling, and doing now compared to how they think, feel, and do after using my services or buying my product. Please write me a sales post offering my service or offer of blah, blah, blah. You must highlight the transformation, use a conversational tone, professional but friendly, use no emojis. That's just my preference. I don't use tons, and no bullet points or titles, and no bro marketing language. Do you understand? Question mark. Because hopefully it will, but it might have questions to ask you as well. So yeah, it's the transformation that we want to get across in our sales post. So what are they thinking, feeling and doing now, and then what's your thing going to transform for them? And then behind the scenes prompts. So give me 12 behind the scenes ideas I can share with my audience. These should be a mixture of business and personal life. The outcome of these behind the scenes posts is I would like to connect with my audience so that they can get to know, like, and trust me. So that's quite a simple one. And then the questions one, so all about them, is please give me 24 highly engaging questions to ask my audience. My goal is to spark interaction, get them talking, and build engagement. I'd also love to use these questions as a way to learn more about them, what they're thinking, feeling, and experiencing. So I think that's all of them. And then I've just at the end of this document, I've just given you some hooks. So this is like a little bonus. I like to give you more. So you can just copy and paste these hooks into your AI.
Oh, I
and
like
just
that.
make them relevant to your business. So there's all sorts of different ones here.
I love that. That's
that you
really
can pop in as well, which will then give you more things to talk about.
I love that top one. I've been keeping a secret.
Yeah, that's quite cool, isn't it? Like, what?
Yeah, really, really cool. I really love that. We've got a really good question from Sam Oliver over on Facebook, who asks, what kind of percentage split per each of these post types would you recommend? More social proof over others, or the other way around? Is there a science to this, or just pick and choose as you see fit?
Yeah, I don't think there is a science. They always say like, oh, only do like 20% of sales posts and 80%, but I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think, you know, in this day and age of this, your newsfeed's so busy, so not everyone is seeing everything. Anyway, that if it's just like an even split over, it depends how many times you're going to post. Like if it's if it's 5 times a week, I'll just do one of each if you can. Is that mixture? And I'll probably throw in a few more sales posts, but that's just me. But I don't know the scientific split of it, like what it would be, because I think they all serve a purpose. They are all interesting, and I would test it as well, and I'd see what your audience like and what they don't like. It might be that you find that they love more of the educational stuff, so do more of that. You know, it might be that they love, lots of behind the scenes posts, which are really good if you make something, or you've got a product or you've got like I don't know, maybe you've got an office, or not an office, but a warehouse. This is going a bit big, but you know how to make stuff. So there's a company and they do like baby clothes and things like that. So they share a lot of behind the scenes, what goes on, how they pack stuff, label stuff, all that kind of stuff, which is really interesting. So I would find out from your audience and test it a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, I love that. And remember that the metric that you are looking for to find out if your audience like it is not how many likes or comments you got.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's how many clicks you got, how much reach you got, and that kind of thing. The silent metrics.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love this so much. And if nothing else, it's a huge reminder to include all of those other pieces of content in, and a simple way to generate them. And I agree with you. I don't think there's a science to these things. I think the priority needs to be connecting with people. We can over strategize and over systemize something to the point where it completely doesn't connect with anybody anymore, because we're going off of formulas and robotic systems that are prioritizing the wrong thing, and that's trying to beat the algorithm rather than trying to connect with human beings. So long as you're prioritizing connecting with people in every single post that you create, I don't think you can have too much of any of them.
No, I don't think so either at all.
Sally's just posted on YouTube. She says, hi, Cordelia and Rachel. I post to Instagram and allow automatic post to Facebook to save time and energy. Should I be posting a separate Facebook formatted post?
you might not like my answer, but yeah, I'd say you should. So they are different platforms, and I don't know what you're posting on Instagram, and I've done it before. Like, I will share the same kind of reel, for example, on Instagram and Facebook, but I have noticed that it's different. Like, my audience are a bit different, so I do now tweak the Facebook ones. I will change them. I know.
What do you change?
So, for example, it's really easy. So I normally do a reel on Instagram first, and then I will just duplicate it. So I do it on Instagram, and I think I did the other one the other day, and it said something. It mentioned Instagram, and then I obviously changed it, because when I put it on Facebook, it was like, I don't know how to. It was probably about the AI twin stuff, about if you're kind of opening up your phone on Facebook and sick of like going through your photos and not having anything. And I changed that word to Facebook. And then the other thing is, like, I see a lot of this, it just makes me a little bit, is that you'll get a load of hashtags on Facebook, and you don't need to write hashtags on Facebook. It's completely irrelevant. So I would just think about your audience on each of the platforms and tweak it slightly if you can. But I have been guilty of that in the past, where I just share like the same reel. But I think, in all honesty, if you can do separate ones, it will be better.
Yeah, I think the call to action is the key one as well, because in Instagram, if you want them to click on a link, you have to say it's in the bio.
Yeah, there is that.
If you transfer that over to Facebook and it says click the link in my bio, there's nothing you can really do with that on Facebook.
No.
So that's the main.
It's not the same. It's not.
Yeah, that's a key. I'd say that's a key one, isn't it, in terms of making sure that it fits, especially if it's that, what do you call it, a profit post.
Yeah.
And you really want those clicks if you've put a link in it.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely change the CTAs. You need to, really.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Sam says, no questions here. Just thanks for giving me a kick up the backside. Just need to start building a more structured system with the posting on social media.
Yeah. Honestly, if you get into the habit of it, so just use this framework and get into the habit of maybe planning it like on a Monday morning or something, wherever you want to. It's just getting into that habit.
Yeah.
And it will just be like, just got to do it,
Yeah, it is hard. We've got John over on Facebook who says, during lockdown, I did a daily live. I mean, that's a big commitment.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And I stopped due to lack of engagement. But since I stopped, I keep meeting people who say that they miss my daily lives, and even some people who said I changed their life. I mean, that comes down to
you don't know, because people don't always say they don't like it, they don't engage. It's really annoying, but that's just what people are like.
Yeah. The validation is helpful because it makes us know that we're on the right track, but we don't always get it.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rachel, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. I have to be honest, like, the thing that I don't know how we connected. I don't think you know much about me or rebellious.
I think you saw something of the AI twin stuff.
Yes, I saw your AI twin stuff pop up, and it looks awesome. You have been helping people on social media create content for ages and seem to be passionate about taking the stress out of it. And you've created something amazing that helps you build your own AI twin. I mean, this is a whole conversation in and of itself. But I've got so many questions, not just about the technical side of how do you even do that very easily, because I've really struggled with creating AI images. I've nailed making things look on brand, but making things that like me in all angles, man, that is not easy. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the course that you've put together on that. So if anyone's interested.
Yes, we've obviously talked about like the posts ideas, and then a lot of people struggle with actually, well, what photos, what videos should I put alongside those? And you might be scrolling along your phone and you're like, oh, I've used that one, I can't use that one again, or I don't like that one. Or you did a photo shoot like 2 years ago and you're kind of, I've done this before, you're like, oh yeah, I use this one from 2 years ago, I hope no one notices that.
I know, someone did say to me the other day, like, oh, you're really young in that photo. I was like, okay, you are now my enemy, I hate you.
It's basically, the course will teach you how to create a digital version of you, which is what I call an AI twin, and it's based on real photos of you, so it's not made up. It's all sorts of different photos, And you can put yourself in any outfit, location. I teach you how to make it on brand and aligned. So you can easily create photos and videos, endless ones, in like a matter of minutes when you've already got your twin created. It's really a slick, fast process. So if you're, decide, oh, I want to do a story post. So for example, I did one, I'm into music. And if you wanted to do like a story post of, I don't know, me playing the piano, I did an image and a video of me with a grand piano playing the piano in the sea. Like, you can't get that from a normal photo shoot or anything like that. So we can come up with really fun, different, surreal, kind of realistic images that go alongside your posts. Or you can just do ones, of you kind of in the kitchen. I've done loads. If you want to go and check out on my Instagram, it's Rachel Green Global. There's all sorts of different AI twin videos on there, and reels of all different things that you can create. So if you struggle with, maybe you don't like being in front of the camera, not everyone likes taking photos or recording themselves, this is a great way to be able to do that really easily, quickly, and stay visible and consistent, which is obviously what we've been talking a lot about, is being consistent. Because I know a lot of people, they have ideas, they want to post, and then they're like, oh, I need to put a photo with that. I don't have anything, I won't post at all. So
yeah,
and the visual side of things will help stop the scroll as well, because they're so different and they look really high end as well. So if you can mix that up in with your content as well, it will really help stand out from everyone else and stop the scroll, and people actually read what you're trying to say. So
well, I've just found you on Instagram. I've given you a follow. I've dropped the link to your Instagram inside the comments box here, so everyone can grab it. Go give.
And the link in the bio goes to the course, so if you want to check it out, you can. It's only $27, so it's well worth it, and you always have an endless supply of photos and videos.
Amazing. $27. That is
about
so cheap. Awesome. Yeah, I think as well, like, how do you feel about, I love what you said, you've got a grand piano in the sea, like, it's very clear and obvious that is an AI photo. Do you think it's good to be upfront about the fact that you're using AI photos?
Yeah, it's not, I don't think that you should fake that you're kind of, in Dubai or something like that.
Yeah.
And on a lot of the platforms, I'm mainly Instagram and Facebook, but there's a button where you click AI, so people know that it's like an AI image anyway. And it's not about pretending or faking it. It's just about making your life a lot easier. So yeah, the surreal ones, you know that, it's not real. And I do a lot of that. Like, I have ones with me with pink dogs. I love animals, a pink lion. But if you're sharing stories and things, or whatever your message is, you can actually just create an image to go with that message that you can't do normally. So it's just it's not, I'm not pretending or teaching anyone to pretend that it's real. People will know, but there will be a point where people just won't even care, because they won't know whether it's real or fake, because it will get so good. It will just become normal. Like, people using ChatGPT is normal. Most people use it now, whereas 2 years ago it was like, oh, I'm not using that. But it's very, very
yeah, it's interesting. There's a whole conversation to be had on that subject, because there's you're right, it is going to become normal. There's also like ethical grey area, but it's also just such a flipping time saver and takes a lot of,
it's a lot of fun when you create your AI thing.
Fun.
Oh my god, it's amazing, because it will look like you, like pretty much 99%. 100%.
Yeah, and I think one of the hardest things, as I said, is, you can upload a picture of yourself into ChatGPT and say, make me look like a K-pop demon hunter, or whatever the bloody hell it's called, but like, it doesn't look like you.
Don't use ChatGPT or Gemini, rubbish. You have to use a tool where you can train it on exactly all sorts of different photos,
like different angles and everything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Rachel.
Very welcome.
Thank you for giving the, all of our rebels a kick up the backside with content creation.
I hope that it helps and that
inspired so many people to. Jackie's saying that she's created a structured 30-day social media planner and she's not actioned it yet, and she's now definitely going to get started on it. So I love that we've inspired people to take action on content, which is great. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Remember that you can catch the show notes over in the strategy lab. They'll be up there by the end of today, and all of the prompts and everything will be there for you to copy and paste. But of course, they're also on this video, so scroll through, take screenshots as and what you need. But if you want a easy way of grabbing it, grab the show notes from the strategy lab. See you in there later today when I'll be publishing this in there. And have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back here next week with another episode. Until then, see you around. Lots of love. Bye.